Evening, mate. How we doing? Sort of. It's been there for a while. You just hold down shift as you're doing it, and it gives you that option. Pretty much. I just use it just so it makes it a bit easier to do things, basically. This is the smaller map. Welcome along. Anyway, basically what I've done is just change the units per pixel down to 0.5, so it's only a 1048 by 1048 playable instead of the 2048. Gives you a bit better like ground definition with mobile and all. It looks a bit better. Not quite as intense. What else was I thinking? I got a plan in my head of what I want anyway, but I might have to add some extra bits in eventually. Obviously, this is going to be one farm. Make it bigger. So, got one farm there. We've got a more dairy focused farm I'm going to build here. And then I want to put in the dealer then is going to be in this region. And then here we're going to have a row of houses and possibly down this way as a cul-de-sac. So yeah, nice little houses there. And then what else did I want? I can't remember what I wanted now. And I think I'm going to put a church ground by here. So sell point is one thing I haven't considered, which I might just put by there, just so you can go and sell stuff. Let's put a field in between here, shall we? I'm already going to go out of scope with this before even starting, aren't I? Heavens. Okay, how many have we got there now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, 17 fields. Might have gone a bit over. That's fine though. Yeah, let's switch back. Right. So I've already made the terrain prior. Mainly for the reason of I want to give myself a bit of a chance at doing this and not just beating the bush and trying to do it too fast or overdoing it with myself, if that makes sense. Yeah, so this is what our first look at the terrain is going to be. This is all going to be like a forest area then, which you can't really go into. A nice little churchyard down at the top. Sell point. And obviously you've got your more arable farm. This side then, I think I need another field. Let's make it more. Why not? Be rude not to. We'll give it a bit of a tapered edge down. Just so she plies in. Yeah. So it looks like a tidy, decent map, to be fair. Doesn't look too bad. Might need to redo these. They look a bit... It looked alright when I first done them. But there we are. Right, so we've obviously got the one main road that runs right the way through, which is nice because I want a double way just so we can have traffic going both ways. And then you've got the one long lane then that takes you up to the arable farm, so you're not feeling like you're on the main road too much. And then you've also got the other lane that comes up to the top farm but just disappears. So hit save there quickly. I think it looked quite nice. Rolling through. So we're going to do the road first. So I'm going to grab a spline. Let's set this by here. So we're going to use this to do two things. One, the spline's going to do the height for me after, like where the road's going to go, and then it helps me create a CSV spline as well to be able to export it into Blender to make my roads. So this is a long, grueling process. There used to be a pain in the backside the last time. But you know, done this plenty of times, so it should be more than good. And the thing is, you could just do it, yeah, you could do this, right? But the only problem you have with that is, okay, my thing is not too bad, but the terrain would leave massive gaps. So I try and do it closer just so it doesn't drop away, if that makes any sense. So it gives you the nicest, smoothest option rather than a waste. Let's double check I'm actually speaking. Yeah, there we are. I knew I had it on the last time. To be honest, it's nice to be back. It's been a while. I think I've been away since Feb. Oh, how are you guys doing with your afternoons on your Saturday? Spending it any better than what I am? It's sad, isn't it? I think. It is indeed. So this is going to be a first T junction then. And your house is in here then. I did have... Oh heck, what are you doing for work then, Chris? Nice to have you along. Half tempted to put a lake in here, to be fair. Like a small little tiny one. But I feel like I'm just going to go flying off the handle and run over a bit on the 28th day if I actually start doing too much. Dear God, right. Oh God, I couldn't imagine anything worse than retail, I will be honest with you. Biggest shame is you can't really get work from home jobs anymore. Have tried looking. It'd be great if you could. Missed my opportunity with COVID, I think. I was addicted to farming. how's everyone coping with the heat and the drought that we've had recently then? I had that little warning last night on my phone that was like, the government issued warning for barbecues. I was like, no shit, mate, you're a bit late there. I should have sent that out 2 months ago. Okay, let's start naming things so I don't lose out. Give it another scythe. Oh, good. Right. So now I've got this set. I need to go into my scripts. And I can't remember which one it is now because I haven't done this in a while. I think it's this one. Yeah. So this one I think I got from FSB Modern or someone in the Discord with us, but I can't remember because I've had this since the game came out. So, from what we're doing here now, I'm pretty sure we'll go and double check. Red Dog, you know what this is more than me. So we're going to go to road marking, sizes UK. Hey, Barber Alba Whitey, how are you, mate? Okay, so standard lanes, which are single ones, are going to be 3.65 meters wide. So we need to make our doubles 7.3 meters wide. So if we go 7.3, but that's going to be too narrow because I need room to be able to down things, everything in. So we're going to go 9 should give me enough. I'm going to leave the spline height and everything else exactly the same. And I'll save it one more time. Yeah, and we'll set height. It's important when you do the set height on stuff like this that you don't press any keys when you're in Giants Editor because it can crash. Learned my lesson there the hard way. It should only take a minute, it shouldn't take too long. But it can be a pain. Like that. So that's all done. So obviously I've got my unit per pixel set. I'm pretty sure it's 0.5. Yeah, it's 0.5. So that means I've got the same density as what you would be in a normal 2048 map, but it's all cramped down. What height did I set them to? Oh, width, sorry. Where is it? 7.3. Yeah, so that's going to be our road width in that, so it gives me a nice little boundary either side to work with. There's another thing now, in the bits that are a bit wonky, I can come in and just flatten them out, just so we have a nice flat area, which will work with in Blender then when I export it out. Gets rid of all the bumps. But there's some good advantages with doing this sort of thing, because it means that you have a bit more resolution to work with, so you're not just working with stupid high spikes. You can actually make some nice little details throughout the map. But smoothing them out just to flatten it. You can just follow it. So what I'm doing there now is I'm holding Alt whilst I'm doing it, and you can move with your middle mouse button here, and then your left click rotates and your right zooms in and out. Obviously these are our junctions, and But this was quite a bad area. It's better to flatten them out now, though, because if I don't flatten them out now, they're going to be absolutely atrocious. Not entirely, mate, no, because I got my own stuff going on, unfortunately. You feel more than free to join the Discord, though, and there's loads of people in there that will be more than happy to help or assist you in ways to get past some problems. Many of you played much of Whitcomb, or you had, don't know, anything new with your maps? I need a lot to catch up on. I haven't really read much. Read a few bits in the Discord, but not a lot. Right, let's see. As far as along, and quick glance, doesn't actually look all too bad, to be fair. I thought it'd be a lot worse. Obviously, if you're doing this in normal unit per pixel, you're not going to see these little dots. You might get a few little bits, but not much. In what sense? As in an actual mesh being nicely going off, or this jagged edge sort of thing? You can make a nice transition. That's not too bad. No worries, Pixel. Thank you for joining. I'll try and help as much as I can along the way. It's I'll just try and put everything I've learned over the years into play. I'm not a professional by any means, but I never seem to finish any of my maps. I seem to start many. So this is going to be my way of trying to get past that and actually finish one. Hey Marv, how you doing, buddy? Honestly, I have no idea. I don't really know what a DayZ map needs to sort of make it. It's a bit like making anything in Blender, really. Obviously, this terrain bit, I'm assuming you can do with height maps in DayZ. If that's the case, it's near enough the same stuff. This is just terrain painting, obviously. But it's quite easy to get grips of. But obviously you can make 3D roads, meshes, or you can make terrain decals. I don't know if it's been sorted yet. I've been away since Feb. So I have no idea if you can get rid of the tyre marks that would come from the ground underneath with terrain decals now, or is it still the same issue? Roads, they're not too bad. You can slam them out as quick as you want. Obviously, I've got a video when Farming Sim first came out with 25, and you can see how easy it is to make terrain decals. They're so much easier. And obviously with Blender's tools, you've got the array modifier and the curve modifier, which makes it a lot easier, which I'll show in a bit now when I get on to doing the road system. I'm not too bad, Math. Not too bad. Just moved house. And I've been without internet for the last 3 weeks because BT couldn't be asked to figure out an issue. Right, there we are. So now we've flattened it all. So that's good. We'll do another save because don't want to lose a lot of progress. Making maps is a good thing to do as well, mate. Honestly. It gives you something to do. I know I do a lot as other people probably start and not finish them. But just to be able to play something that you've made, or if you want something done a certain way, you can do that. Which is nice. Just a lot of people, I think, who are on consoles don't really take into consideration how long it takes to do stuff. Sort of another reason why I want to do this is like, I want to do one, but I want to also show off how hard it is to do as well. I've been doing this for a few years and modeled for years before, but mix and match. I'm no professional. You'll see that in my work. It's not the best. But it's hard to learn without any guidance or anything, basically. I think I've got, Juku, I think I have about 40 maps that I've started all in all. Right. So now that we've got this done, there's another tool you can get. I don't know where it's from. I can't remember. I'm really bad with it. But the script itself is called Spline CSV Creator Panel to OBJ. So your CSV distance now is what you need to set in between. So how many times you want the points to be. I usually put 5 meters because that seems to give a really good thing. So we click Create CSV. And it should create a new transform here, and as you can see, it creates a point which is different to this one, which is quite sporadic, and it looks a bit nuts. Well, I'll be honest with you, devil's advocate, if you go into mapping, you can just lose a few hours very quickly, like ridiculously quick. Right, so now that we've got that sorted, I also need to try and work out how the new Blender exporter works. I've installed it, I haven't used it, but we'll hop over now into Blender. But I just need to do one thing first. So this is another thing. If you want to get your terrain in, zoom out so you can see the entire boundaries of your terrain. Otherwise you'll have a frustum culling and it will cut it off. So we will now go to export selection. Ignore all this stuff for now, but we want to make it now as 28 day chal, and I'm going to save this as terrain v1 m road 1. I think I just exported it as an i3D. Yes. So save it again, but change this to wavefront OBJ. And replace. You do indeed, Marv. I like it, but I need it because it's a pain in the backside making stuff. Well, on Farming Simulator 17, when I did that, I had 3,500 hours played, but I spent a good year and a half before that just in the editor doing my own other stuff. So, here we are. We're in Blender. We're going to get rid of everything here because we don't need it. So I'm going to now import wavefront OBJ. So firstly I'm going to go to the desktop in here, and we're just going to bring in our terrain. So because I'm doing this at 0.5, it should be a lot easier to load in and work in. So as you can see, it's there. If it cuts out like that, don't worry, press N, and then under view, change this endpoint to something stupid. Right. So there we are. That's the terrain in the whole. And as you can see, it's given us this really, really nice crisp place to use. So now we do another import OBJ. I need to now go through to the maps folder, into the mods, and here you go, there's all my fucking maps in here, and then it'll make a folder called CSV data, and then you got your road spline, and then there we are, we've got it in. Right, I'm hoping are you in the RTM Discord? It should be RTM SimStation Discord. If it's not, I'll have to update it and I'll put it in the one that you've gone to, because I think that's for the game development one I did. Okay, so now we have this in. You can't just go straight away and use this as your spline guide curve. So we need to right click, convert to curve. Done. So, in hindsight, that is everything we need to do now before we make the roads. So for this collection, I'm going to hide it. I'm going to make a new collection and put it in the main. Nope, wrong one. That one off. Okay. And let's have a look. top down. So I tend to make everything in planes. So you're going to do mesh, add plane. So if you press N again, it brings up this. We can now go to item. So one of the first things I like to do, I like to go GX1, just so it goes over 1. Right, I'll send you the other one. That's for the game I made then, if that makes sense. But I'll send you another one for that one. We got 800 odd people on the other one, I think. So we're going to set now the origin to this X mark, because when we rotate it on Z, it'll rotate properly, and then it works as you want to. So now X is our thing. So Y is going to be our width. So because it's a double road, we have to go 7.3. So that's our main road width. However, we now need to add in a consideration for the both sides. If we give it 15 centimeters per side, that would mean 7.6, if you catch my drift. And then if we go lengthwise, I usually like to go 20. Gives you a good base. But when you have this on 20, you need some good subdivisions. Or I like to use loop cuts, and then you can go from there. Just so if you want it to bend, it can bend, etc. Oh, nice, mate. You'll have to let me know, because I'll have to probably redo my roads. Okay, so now we need to distinguish where lines are going to go, etc. So I'm going to make another one here. So that is our center per lane. So on the sides, I like to do one each. Have it set, press number 2, and then shift left alt after 1 selected, you got 2. Then I like to scale it up. So you know I said about that 15 centimeters per side? This is roughly what it does. So now, if we click these two sides, and I turn down here, you can see I can drop the sides, and it gives you a nice little fall off on the side of the road. Yeah, if you want to pixel, that's fine. Yeah, so that gives us a nice little definition there. I like to also grab the one just next to it and drop it slightly. So now we have a nice little mesh. Give me 2 seconds and I will be back. I need to just have a look at one thing. Okay, let's carry on. Sorry about that. Right. So, we can add in 2 more lines either side here. This is what I'm going to use now to make my center line eventually. So we'll scale those down. I normally think about that's about right. Then with this one, because it's a center line that we're not going to need anymore, you can press delete, but because it's an edge that we're not going to use, if you did vertices, like, it can work, but it gets rid of the sides. So we're going to delete and then do edges, and it leaves the sides in. And now we need a pair of lines to go on the outside as well. So this just makes it a bit easier down the line. So same again, scale them out So you have about the same thickness as what we have on the side there. And then we're going to scale Y on these as well, just to get the center line. And if you have a look on this view, you can't really see much because it's a bit harder to see, and I can't really see it with my screen. But we'll keep it at 0. It should go straight to, if you go on my channel, you'll have the home videos, shorts and live. It should all go into the live view there anyway. So you should be able to just have this on a demand thing. Okay. So, because these are going to be our lines, right? This is what I like doing. I like taking them all. I could actually just do that. I just wasted some stuff there. But you can have all of these and the middle one. If you do Shift D, then exit, then right click, separate selection. So lines, and then we got road base. So now if you do take your road off, you've got your lines there when you need it. So now we can concentrate on the actual road itself. Because the thing you can do here now is these lines, don't really need, but I'll keep them in anyway. So I'm going to save this, and we'll save it to the 28-day challenge as the road main, just so I have it. So now we need to find out our directory stuff for Farming Simulator. So it's where your installed directory is. I'll try and use all of their stuff to do this stuff. Data, maps, we're going to go to, which one was it? I think it's the Asian one. Then we're going to go textures, is that the one? Buildings, infrastructure, right. I may have done this a bit too long before. Right, so you've got main road. We want the normal main road, we don't want the... It's the wrong one, hang on, bear with. I think it's the EU one that I used the last time. Textures, buildings, infrastructure, is this one? No, or is it the US one then? It's been so long since I've done this. It might be this one actually. There she is. These are the ones we want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to Control C this because it'll come in handy. So now let's make a new texture, and we shall call it road texture. Yeah, speak of the devil, and what does it do? It crashes on a material. That's good, isn't it? But the good thing is, I not long saved it. This is why you save. I think, yeah, we're exactly the same as that. There we are. So let's make a new texture. Okay, it doesn't like renaming textures. Good to know. Did that one come back again? Okay. Oh, I just started the game. Bollocks. No. No. Stop. Bear with. Oh, I hate it when it does this because I... There we are. Right. So it did work, I think. Okay, so let's make road texture. Okay, we'll come back to this after. So Giants uses the same colour for both sometimes, so we're going to change this to a light blue. So if we do use a different colour on it, we're not going to come into any issues. The next thing you're going to want to do is obviously you go to your preferences, add-ons, and then you want to have Node Wrangler enabled. Oh, don't. It's a pain in the backside. This is... I got a Ryzen 5 3600 with a 1660 Ti and 32 gig of RAM. It's not exactly the best that you can get. Right, so we've done that. I'll save it again. Now we're going to go to shading. This might crash again. Nope. Okay, all good. So, we've got these two open. If we now select this one, we go Control-Shift-T, it'll now bring up the Node Wrangler part. So remember I copied that link before to the destination of the folder. You paste that into the top, press enter, now you've got everything in that folder, right? And you got some transitions and everything which they have in there. So we need the diffuse, the alpha, the normal. You can use the height, but it doesn't really work that well. But we'll add it in anyway because it's all done in then. So that's all of them. Okay. So, got the textures in, look, and you can see them, they do work. I like to change the roughness to be near enough full. That makes it look quite nice. But then you can also say bring it down a hair, just so you have that little bit of reflection. The IOR you can also turn down. I can't remember what it's actually called. An index of refraction. Yeah. Thank you, Blender. Okay. So that's all nice and set. So now you've got a decision to make. What colour do you want? So, now that we've got that set, I'm going to save it. I'm going to go to UV editing. And I'll have the texture on. And we'll do it a bit of a top-down view. So if we come over here, it's obviously gone for the height for some reason, but we'll go back to diffuse. So over on your right tab, select A, U, and I do Smart UV Project and just leave it as correct aspect. Okay, so over in the left window, you go A, rotate 90, just to give us the right one. And then if we scale 0.5, it should give us the correct one, and then GY1 0.25 should give us the exact one. Scale X by 2, and you now have a textured road. It's quite simple. Yeah, but this is now a one-lane road. That's what this texture does. So we're gonna have to change slightly what we're doing. So I know I got rid of it earlier, but we'll add it back in. So the middle line now, that is in the center. So what we can do is we select A, and we want to now scale the left by 0.5 on Y. No, we don't. Ignore me. We want to scale Y by 2. That would make sense. And then we're going to drop it down to near enough center. And then, what have I done wrong here now? I've done something wrong. You have to be careful because you want to keep it all in the same thing. So the center, have we got a center line on here? Yeah. So we want the center line to just be above the cutoff of the sides, right? If that makes sense. And then they're all connected now, which is a big problem. If I do, bear with, if I scale Y by I'm a silly sausage. I've literally been speaking for however long I've come back from. Cheers, Tony. Yeah, so basically what I said was when you do the normal texture, it does one lane. So what I've basically just done is split that texture in half across the model to give it 2 lanes. So the texture doesn't look funny. Hence why you've got this dark patch here now, rather than the dark patch being in the middle by here. I think there is something you can do with the middle as well, if you wanted to, but I can't remember what that is. But you can do some stuff to change everything. What a plonker. I've been speaking to myself for ages. How's that, Mav? What have I done wrong? Let's G Z. Let's bring it up slightly. So I've just done it that way. Where does it look stretched, bud? Might be a bit stretched lengthwise. Yeah, that makes sense. But that's fine, because all you need to do is... What do I need to do? Scale length by 2. Is that it? Yeah. And then GX. Yeah. That should be a bit better. I don't know what the actual scale is that Giants use, like what length their road is. It might be 5. Yeah, that looks better. But it looks a bit nicer than what it was before anyway. And you try and keep it low poly as well. Because you could, in theory, if you wanted to, dissolve the edges there as well. And then to even keep it simpler again, dissolve. Don't do that. You need that, that's your separating one. But you can also do it where you can use correct space. Yeah, your correct attributes, because when you split it then, or say you move this way, it keeps the same texture both ways without wondering. So what I'm trying to say is if you tick that off and do it, it'll stretch. Well, I'll have to do that next time then. It's pretty much the same anyway, isn't it? I think they near enough come on the same part. Where's that? Right. Bear with. So what I'm realizing is this needs to go up slightly. Oh, yeah, that's better. But obviously, I know the middle looks like it wanders back and forth a lot. But you have to remember you can have your white lines over the top of it. And that's what I'm going to get on to next. So save that one. Alright, bear in mind as well, before I move on, you've got that texture. If you did this and then you just dragged it down to this one, it works. So whichever style you want to go for, it'll work. Okay, so now that that one's done, we can now get onto our white lines. So, that's where our lines are going to be. This is something else that will require a new texture. So we'll add new. You could probably do this part now on your mesh. I haven't tried it. I might actually. Let's try it on the road base for now, because I have got the lines here. So we'll add a new texture, and we're going to call white lines or yellow lines, whichever you want. It doesn't matter. So again, we'll change this to a different color. And now I'm just going to apply it to these ones. And then select the middle here as well, and this one. Now this is where I don't know if it works for giants, because if you assign two when they're the same color, it'll put the same texture everywhere. So we're going to assign that to be on white lines. So now it'll match the terrain and everything exactly. So now then, we can go back to shading on slot 2. Again, Control Shift T, and there should be white lines here somewhere here. So you got the 3 there, and import. Right. So it all comes down to mapping with this one now. So if I can, these all need to be as one. So I've sort of messed up with this one by separating it in, but I can remap that in now anyway. So we'll start with the white line in the middle. Let's see, yeah. So this is what I go off first, because it's what works. So what we're going to do is we're going to press U, we're going to smart UV project it and bring it in. But compared to everything else now, you can see it's a bit different. So I like to use the side ones, but you can use the different ones in it. So we're going to rotate it by 90, and then we're going to scale by 50 at least. And then we're going to scale Y. There, you can start seeing it come out. So we're going to make it shorter. How many do I want? Yeah, that looks about right there. That's the solid white, so we need the gap in white, which is this one. So scale Y. This is the only problem you have with doing it this way. Like the alpha should take it out. Should. But it hasn't. Did take out this as well. The alpha is just not working. It acts like, or is it working? And I've just taken out. Don't do it this way. That can go. Go back to our old one. Keep it as that. If you copied me, I'm sorry. Ignore it. Right. Obviously, image texture. But we'll do it in the shading option because it's easier. We'll change this then to white lines because it's already there. UV editing. Right. Why did I just do it this way? It's a lot easier. I really confused myself on the first one. Right. So we need the gap in whites, which is this one. So we go down to there, scale Y, make them nice and wide. Because the thing is, you can check. You can see if they're missing out the side or not. You can make it slightly bigger or smaller. It's up to you. So I like having them set like that, so it clips in properly as you go forward. If anything, they might be a bit too wide. Yeah. And then with the side ones, let's have a look here. So these two are near enough exactly the same. So what we need to do is bring it down to be the solid white, which is by there. And we don't want to change the width to this one. This one's fine. So if we scale Y on here, you can mess around with your UV a bit more. And just make sure that it doesn't cross either way. Okay, and then the same with this one, but we've got a big advantage. Just drag it up. Scale Y until it's the same size, roughly. There. And you can have the same, but you can also rotate it 180 to give it slightly different variation. And then that's your white lines near enough done. So the good thing is you know it sets the same as this one, and they should have the same points. So in saying that, if we set the origin to 3D cursor, and then we snap this one to cursor, we can then bring it up just enough where it does just about sit on it. But if you want it to be properly over the top, you can go to your modifiers, shrink wrap it, and your object you go into is that one. And then I like to go above surface, and then you lift it by 0.1. 0.01. Can't remember what I used to set it to now. Probably 0.05. Just enough, basically, just so it doesn't sit in it, so you can see it clearly. And there we are. That is our first road piece done. And because they all share the same pattern, you should be able to follow it properly. So now let's turn this on. You can, in theory, if you wanted to, link them. If you want. But that's completely up to you. I'll shift duplicate it anyway. And I'm going to get our first ones off. And then I'll just join this one, just for shites and giggles. Right. This one's done. We now need to do rotation and scale. Boom. So, in doing so, we can now go on to this one. We're going to add a modifier. We're going to add an array modifier. Let's turn this off. So you can see they just make nice roads. Happy days. Right. Then we add a curve modifier to go to the curve of, hang on, that one. And we have that. And because they share the same center point, you don't have to worry. And now you can just fill it up all the way to the end. And when you take a look at it, it's going to be messed up. And boom, shift and scale on your spline. And she's all good to go. Near enough, anyway. It used to be alright. For some reason it turns into a right pain with some stuff. If you put this on now, it'll dig into the road. Right? Oh no, big panic. Don't panic, it's fine. So, instead of going everything else into your curve, you can also shrink wrap it above the surface by, how much did I set it? I think I set it to about 10. And then we go onto terrain instead. Might crash. There. Basically the same thing. Problem is still there because I've messed up. But there we are. It's sort of the same retrospect as what you can do. Because it gives you the road directly as it follows the terrain. I'm sorry if I'm a bit slow on this. I haven't done this properly for a while. The last time I done this, God, last year sometime. If I turn the train off, yeah, you still got it there. Maybe this is why you shouldn't link it. Right, let's do it bit by bit. I'll do it one at a time. So obviously your array, and then you've got your curve. We're going to then set the curve to your road spline, and then just boom, done. Because when you do this as well, right? If we go top-down view, I need to do my view again. You can obviously move Y to move it side to side. You can move X then to distinguish where it starts and stops, so you can go past the point of no return. Just so it overlaps slightly, right? That's fine. Oh, this fucking thing. This is why you shouldn't get a 1660 Ti. Just as an FYI. Fucking hates it, and it makes it a pain in the ass. Then shrink wrap, we will go project on surface above target is U. Actually projecting makes it worse. Nearest surface point above surface 0.1. Okay. Now when you do this on array, always press merge, please. Otherwise, it's going to be a pain in your back end. So we'll apply that. We'll apply the curve, and we'll apply the shrink wrap. So the only thing it's done is probably messed up our sides. So you can't make 3D meshes with them. They're basically terrain decals. So I'm making this as a 3D mesh instead. So obviously you've got both sides here selected. Now, with the item, I only want to drop it. Oh god. That, if anything else. It's just enough. I might have gone too much. No, that's alright actually. And you can do the same with this one, but instead of down to that, we'll just turn it down slightly. I went a bit too far back by the looks of it. Okay. For some reason, it's still showing stuff in the middle. He'll be alright. It doesn't actually eat your performance as much as what you think. I will be honest with you. My road entire system is less vertices on this massive road than a hedge. Okay. So that's all fine because it's going into the terrain. Why did I just do that? I just pressed tab on the terrain. Ah, that makes sense. That's something I haven't considered doing before, I will be honest. Right, let's save it so we don't lose stuff. So that's our road done. So now we're going to do the same with our lines. So, same again, same on the curve, attach it to the same thing. As I set the other one to, was it 60? And then because I decided to be a slight mong trot moving everything, I can't remember where I need it set to now. Because I pulled it out slightly, didn't I? Oh, painful. I'm a bit sloppy, I do apologise. Should be alright in all fairness. Right. 166 maybe. Yeah. I can always try it again, I suppose. Because this one hasn't worked too bad. This has worked better. The curve to Z up. And set the curve to... Ah. Yeah, but it is anyway, no? I'm trying to think. Anyway. That's fine. That's fine. Above surface. Right, where do I need to set it? Right, why is it not liking this? Project. When I used to do this before, I didn't mind it that much, but for some reason it's just not liking me today. Let's go 0. Apply it. Oh my good God. It's just a bit of a pain in the ass, that's all. Like, you know what? You can do this however way you want to do. I'm just going to do it my own way. What the fuck? Okay, that really just messed it up. Let's get rid of it. So we just have the centerpiece instead. Because that still works for me. Don't really need anything else. Really, because it still works the same. It's an old little town road, so I don't mind too much. It's if you're adding lines is a different thing. That's something else. But I got the road dip in anyway. And then you can do rotation and scale on both. And then... How does the exporter work on this one? I'm going to export it. Oh yeah, clearly it has Giants editor exporter, clearly, because Giants is so good at doing this stuff. So I've just wasted my time building it in 5. Oh, I've really messed up on my thing yet. Why? My bad. Didn't press it. Okay. Yeah, it was my bad. I just didn't enable it. Okay. I just export it through. I tend to just leave everything as it is here. Right. Where is it exported to? Attributes, no. Right, ding dong. Numpty over here. You can tell I haven't done this for a while. We'll send it into here. We'll set the A3D file. I'm going to export selected. I'm hoping now I've done it correctly and it should be there. Maybe should have done a bit of stuff myself, yeah. Prior. I probably should have prior. But I didn't, so that's my fault. So, I'm going to exit that down. Okay. If you also have problems with Giants Edit after you go back and forth through stuff, just toggle your soft shadows again and it should come back nice and smooth. Right. So, our road system. So it'll save this as well, just to be on the safe side, you know. Nicely done. Import. So we need to go back to our folder. Don't import it from another place, because otherwise you're going to make issues for yourself. And then went into textures again, and then I got our road main. Obviously didn't like the way I done everything. Great. Absolutely smashing stuff. Awesome. This export was absolute dog. Anyway, if it does that, just come back in here and then select your diffuse plan. Done. Does it have a gloss map? Does. And then your normal map. I need to go back and do this in a minute. But I'll like redo it later, sort of thing. And obviously your white lines, you just need to do the same thing with that as well, which is your diffuse, your normal map. Have they got normal? Yeah. Do they have specular on that? I don't think they have a specular, have they? They have. For the alpha, I can't remember. I should be alright, to be fair. I should be able to just go on to the road, shaders, data, shaders. I use placeable shader building. I think it was placeable shader. Yeah. And then you can set it to be alpha map. Turn that on, back into your thingy folder and pick your alpha, but I've just chosen the wrong one, so bear with, that's my fault. This one, and then on your lines do the same thing basically. Probably the wrong way to do this. You could probably do this a different way, but the way I do it still works. Right, back into your infrastructure folder and your alpha, and then you should have everything working. And as you can see, the roads are in. Everything's working as it should. I like to select the two splines on the right and hide them, because otherwise they become an absolute pain in the backside. But I think we are floating slightly. Let's see. Let's